I built an 8-figure house flipping business with no employees. Now, most people think that solopreneur means you're out there grinding 100 hours a week, and that's not what it means. It also doesn't mean that you're working alone necessarily. It means you have no employees. And that's what I'm about to show you. I'm also about to show you how the same thing that could give you the 4-hour work week could also work to make you scale into a multi-million dollar operation. Now, I'm Ross, been doing this for 15 years, been buying houses, flipped over 300 houses. I own 150 rental units that bring me a couple $1,000,000 per year. And today I'm going to break down my philosophy on how I deal with getting work done without being out there in the field doing it myself all the time. So first thing is, what is a solopreneur? Okay. Solopreneur means that you do not have a payroll. You own the system, you own the decisions and the judgments. Those are your assets. But to get those things done, you don't necessarily do them yourself. You get things like AI, VAs, vendors, outside contractors, 1099s to do those things. You just choose not to lock yourself up in the payroll prison. So because the goal is to gain peace of mind. Like true freedom means that you're not tethered to these different things. You get to choose on a daily basis the obstacles that you want to face, the stuff that you want to go work on. And so the solopreneur model allows you to have that sort of freedom and flexibility. And you can use that freedom to either scale, use your extra time to go scale and build a bunch of companies. A lot of people probably watching this want to choose that route, or you can use your extra time to go, on a month-long RV vacation with your family, which I'm about to do. Okay. So this concept all starts with the pyramid. So this is like the depth chart pyramid. I spun up a little thing online for you guys. I'll just show you here. This is the depth chart pyramid. So if you've been following along, I went through my operating system, my second brain system, and on my main channel, I have like a full 2-hour course on my operating system. All right. But this is the foundation of the pyramid. Without this, none of the other stuff works. All right. So you got your operating system, the way that you deal with yourself and the way that you organize things. Just understand, if you don't have that, you're just passing off a bunch of junk to all of these other layers that we're about to talk about. And then it just makes the chaos kind of exponentialize. All right. But on top of that, we have the support staff. Okay. This is getting things done for you personally, is what I would call that. And we're going to get into this in later videos in depth and how you actually work with these things. I just want to give you a general idea right now. And then we have the business drivers. All right. Business drivers are the things that we talk about throughout the whole curriculum of what I teach, the solo house flipper, which is like how you manage projects, how you go out and get deals, how you list your house, the 4 controls of real estate. That's what the business drivers really are, named appropriately, right? And then you have the essentials. This is really like how you defend your empire, your castle. These are things like CPAs, attorneys, etc. And I'm about to give you the list of like all the vendors that I'm thinking that you need, at least to start. Then there's infrastructure. Okay. Infrastructure are like the roads. I guess that's why I named it that. But it's everything that you need to operate. And generally, these are obstacles that will be in your way. One example would be like a title company. Okay. Obviously, you can't close on a house without a title company. Okay. But these are infrastructure type of vendors. Like they're just going to come your way. You're going to go find one. It's not really, they're not going to make a huge difference on the success or failure of your company. You got to find one that, of course, meets certain standards. We'll get into all that. And then you have luxuries. My favorite one is a mobile notary. Like instead of having to go down to the title company to close every time, I have somebody come up to my office. I sign the stuff. They take the paperwork. It's convenience. Don't need it. All right. So let's go through the vendor roster. Once again, I have taken some time to put down the vendors that, just to get your brain going. This is like when you hear people say, you got to build a great team in real estate. This is what they mean. Okay. And building a great team, I absolutely agree with. Of course, I talk crap on it all the time because I think that most people don't understand that the team is really you and your mindset and the way that you go about these things. But these are tools that you need in your business. Okay, so you have the support stack, which we talked about a little bit, but this is like software and tools. I'm looking this way because my computer screen's over here. Automations and code. And we're going to get into like the different workflows and exactly how I get AI to do things for me. This will be in a later video. This is a whole series. AI agents, VAs, admin or assistants, or like an errand person or a local runner. All right. So this is your support staff. This is the people who free up your bandwidth. Business drivers, as we talked about, these are the ones that are actually like part of the buying houses, renovating them, getting them to market, or holding them as rentals. Wholesalers, realtors, marketing vendors, hard money lenders, private lenders, DSCR, debt service coverage ratio, types of lenders, property managers. Essentials are like CPAs, bookkeepers, attorneys, insurance agents, banks. Infrastructure is like title companies, material suppliers, home inspectors, appraisers, surveyors, architects, engineers, city or permit contacts. All right, these are people that are in the business. You are going to run across them, but unless you have a far different strategy than me, they're not going to be a huge part of your growth or lack thereof. Luxuries, staging companies, mobile notaries, estimators. All right. I have used an estimator before where they like go in and tell you how much it's going to cost for the renovation. Generally on like bigger commercial stuff is what you would use that for. But money managers or wealth managers, people who like do the stock stuff for you, if that's what you're into. Specialty photographers, usually your realtor is going to have a photographer, but maybe you have different ideas. Premium consultants. Hey, maybe that's me for you. I don't know. Okay. So that's the idea of the different vendors that you're going to have. And then you see the stack, support staff, business drivers to essentials, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I want to talk about why you hire people. And this is important because a lot of people hire for the wrong reasons. Okay. And I touched on this a little bit, that it was the whole series that I did before this was about your operating system. And this is important because that is the thing that gives all of the chaos organization, keeps everything in line. Okay. And because of that, because of the lack of doing that, what most people have are all these problems and overwhelmed, and they think that they can hire it away. And you can't do it. All you do is you make your problems worse because you are the only one that can organize your organization. And once it's organized, then you can strategically hand things off. So I'm going to go through the reasons here. Good reasons. Liability. Okay, you might be wanting to pass off the liability. Perfect example is property management. Okay, you own the property in your name or an LLC's name, but that company also manages it. If something goes wrong inside of the property, there's some sort of liability issue, somebody slips and falls, okay, you're of course, the first target here. If there is a property management company that is taking care of those things, for one, it's probably less likely to have that liability because it is their job to make sure, bad things don't happen. You have a bunch of other things going on, but also the property management company has a layer of insurance and protection before it even gets to you as the owner. So one reason you might hire is the liability padding. Number two is bandwidth. Obvious one. I don't have the time to do all this crap, so I need more people to do this stuff. Okay. If you've thought out the reasons or the ways to do things in the workflows, all stuff that we're going to talk about, this is great. You offload bandwidth because you're growing in other ways and you're using your skills and talents and brain to do the things that only your skills and talents and brain can do. That's the whole idea of growing a business. Three is skill upgrade. So, if you don't know how to wire a house, an electrician does. they have skills that you don't have. That is an obvious reason to hire people. A CPA, you probably don't know how to file your taxes. Great, you need one of those people. Next is access. Okay, this would be permitting. So a GC, let's say, they have a license that you don't have. Okay, now you can go get your license, but right now, if you needed to pull permits, that would be an obstacle that stopped you from being able to do the project. Therefore, you would need to pay somebody who has the access. There's also things like special software, like civilian can't necessarily go get certain software or shop at certain stores. Like some of the suppliers only allow people who have certain licenses to shop with them. Okay, so that would be another idea of access. Your access is denied. You don't have the proper authority to do that. That would be a reason that you would need to hire somebody. And I used the GC example. I'm a huge believer that you should go out and get the access to be able to pull your own permits. Made lots of videos about that stuff. So maybe that was a bad example. But anyway, next is desire. This may be a luxury thing, but there are certain jobs that I certainly do not want to do because I just don't like doing them. I totally have the access and the ability and all that. And the bandwidth. I just don't want to do it. And that is fine. Okay. Obviously, you know, as we're getting into the good and bad reasons that you would want to hire somebody, this is a luxury. Okay, so think about it. As you're growing your business, you're probably going to do a lot of crap you don't like to do. Too freaking bad. That's any business. If you don't like it, go work for somebody and waste your life. Next is urgency. Okay, now we're getting into the bad reasons here. Urgency means that something comes up, you're at a short-term increase in bandwidth, and you just hire out to get through that bottleneck. Okay, there are times that comes up, and that's a good reason to do it potentially. But most likely, the reason that happened is because your operating system isn't in line, you're disorganized, and things have come up, and they'll come up again and again and again. And so that urgency keeps happening. Okay, so that's a good indicator that you're maybe doing something wrong. Fear is the next one. This is a huge one. Maybe fear is the wrong word, but lack of confidence. An example would be, so I've filed my own taxes before. And I remember when I was doing that, I was like, oh gosh, I hope I didn't miss something. What if I did this thing wrong? What if I get audited? What if, that's the type of lack of confidence I'm talking about. You go hire somebody because you think they have all the answers. They're going to do it perfect. It's going to be safer. Sometimes that's true. A lot of times people don't know what they're doing. Either do you. It's okay. You'll care more about your stuff. Just go do it anyway. Doing some of the construction stuff yourself or managing it yourself. It's not that complex, guys. And truly, I guarantee you the contractors are messing up things too. So fear is a potentially bad reason to hire somebody. Could be well-grounded as well. Just a thing to consider. Status, this is absolutely a bad reason. I don't even know how to explain this one because it doesn't make sense, but you want to hire somebody to look cool, basically, like to be able to say, I got my bookkeeper doing that for me, or my assistant is handling that for me. Who cares, guys? That's silliness. Okay. So those are the good and bad reasons to hire people. You need to be aware of these. And the thing is, what I'm getting at with being a solopreneur, and there's more videos in this series coming up here, but what I'm getting at with being a solopreneur, it's all about creating lightness for yourself. A lot of people build businesses that as they grow bigger, it becomes heavier and heavier on them, and it becomes more and more of a prison. What you're trying to do is offload bandwidth in the right way, for the right reasons, to the right people, so that you can choose what work you want to do on a daily basis. And also for you to understand that what we're trying to do all the time is build assets for ourselves. We buy assets, we build assets, assets and skills and habits and so on and so forth, and workflows and processes. And the point here is, if we do this right, then you own all of it, and all of the other things like the vendors that you hire, or maybe employees that you hire, AI that you use, VAs that you use, all of these things are tools for the true asset, which is you. And that's the thing that we're trying to build, because you aren't going anywhere anytime. Once again, this is a series. Please watch the next video in the series. It will make all this get put together. And also note that we have a private community that is free for now. It's linked in the description. Check it out. We talk about stuff like this. You can ask any question. You'll get answers in there. It's people just like us. I'll see you there.